Hello and welcome to the Power BI August 2022 update. In this video, we'll explore what's new this month and see some demos of the highlights. We have some exciting updates for you in the reporting section. First, we're happy to announce an update to conditional formatting for data labels. When we first brought conditional formatting for data labels to Power BI Desktop last year, the scope at which Power BI evaluated your conditional formatting rules was based on the full aggregate of the field across the whole visual, rather than at each data point. This caused all data labels in the visual to display as the same colour. We've since heard your feedback that this behaviour isn't intuitive, and we're making some changes this month and next month to bring conditional formatting for data labels to be more in line with what you expect. Rien will show us a demo of the changes this month.
Hello everyone. We've got an awesome feature for you this month. It's conditional formatting for data labels. Now you might say, but that already exists. And it's true, it does. But before, if I set conditional formatting on data labels, then all the data labels would look the same, because we would be applying the same conditional formatting rule to every single data label, evaluated at the global scope, evaluated at the scope of the whole visual, rather than at each data point. So if I said, if this data point, or if the measure is greater than 1,000, color it blue, because the sum of it is greater than 1,000 across the whole visual, everything would be colored blue. It's not very good behavior. Why? Because you expect when you have a data label that you're conditionally formatting it against that specific data point, against the measure as evaluated at each data point. Starting at this month, we will be doing it that way. So now we'll be evaluating conditional formatting rules for data labels at the data point level instead. So now, let's say I hit the conditional formatting button. I'm using the sales amount measure, which is the same as the measure that you see on the y-axis of the visual. I'm going to say it's red for low, blue for high, hit OK. And now you can see that the data labels themselves are colored differently at each data point. That's different from before. And that's great, right? Because now you can actually color your data labels as they're associated with the data point, rather than across, coloring them all the same every single time, always. For this month, this behavior is limited only to data labels for visuals with one or more measures. So, right now I have one measure. I can put in as many of these as I want. That's fine. The behavior works fine. And this is more important, no field in the legend field well. So, as long as you don't have a field in legend field well, you are good. You can apply conditional formatting to any of these measures, as you can see. If I want to do NSAT, I can. I can apply a new conditional formatting rule here. So any number of measures, it's fine. You can even apply it across all measures, and that would still work. So let me show you what it looks like here. I'm going to do red if it's above 1,000. Most of these are above 1,000. You can see this one is not above 1,000, and so it is the default color, which is, I think, orange. And we can see what the default color is by going here. Oh. I had originally set it to orange at a different point. See, if we set the default color to black, then this single data point becomes black, because the single data point, or the single data label, is the one below 1,000, and we can check that. NSAT over here is above 1,000. Great. So the ways that we apply precedence to color for these series is that the ones that we set for the general all series are the default baseline colors. So if I set a conditional formatting rule here, it will get overridden by any rules, any colors that I set for each individual measure. If I set one for sales amount, that's what will be applied to sales amount. If I set one to NSAT, that's what will be applied for NSAT. As long as I have set something in NSAT in sales amount, it will override what I have in all. But I can use this all color as a good baseline to catch the colors that I don't set in individual measures. Additionally, the conditional formatting rules for data labels that you've already set on current reports will not be affected. So if I have an existing report that has for some reason already set a conditional formatting rule for data labels, which means that all my data labels are colored the same along that rule, that won't be affected. We're not going to change that. That's good because, as Power BI, we like to preserve backward compatibility. But it's not good for giving you the quote-unquote correct behavior, as in evaluating the conditional formatting rule per data point to all current reports. Now, you can get that new behavior for your current reports just by editing the report on this version of Power BI, reapply the same color conditional formatting rule that you already set, just reapply it onto your relevant data labels, and you'll get the new behavior. So it's pretty straightforward to get it. But, again, if you do have an existing report, we will not give it to you by default. You need to go in and change it. This way we're preserving backward compatibility for anyone who actually did want all of those data labels to be colored the same along some other measure. In a future release, we're going to bring this same behavior to visuals where you also have a field in the legend field well. We found a big bug that stops us from doing it this month, but we decided that we should at least get you half the feature because, at least it's giving you value now for the cases where you don't have a field in the legend field well. So until we do bring that to you, let me show you what happens if we drag something into the legend field well. I need to only have one measure, and then we can split that measure along some category like this. So until we bring that to you, you'll find that if you go into the data labels options, you won't be able to apply conditional formatting anymore. We removed that button. And we're doing so to prevent more users from setting up the wrong conditional formatting rules, because like we mentioned, we try our best to preserve prior functionality for existing reports. So if you set the wrong conditional formatting rule between now and when we bring you conditional formatting for legends, it's going to be preserved, and then you're going to need to go in, you're going to need to go change that report in order to get the correct behavior. We don't want to have to support the wrong behavior moving forward. So we're just going to remove that button for now. We'll bring you conditional formatting for data points, even for visuals that have a field in the legend field well. We'll bring that to you soon, next month, maybe the month after, and then we'll re-enable the button then.
Next, for tenants requiring sensitivity labels on their reports, we now allow creators to set the sensitivity label directly from the save flow. Previously, the dialog would be a message redirecting the user to find and use the ribbon drop-down instead. This new dialog helps save creators time searching for sensitivity label settings in the ribbon to complete their save. Next, as some of you already know, we released Microsoft Purview DLP policies for Power BI to public preview earlier this year. DLP policies enable you to better control the sensitive information managed in your Power BI tenant, as well as comply with governmental or industry regulations like GDPR. This month, we're introducing the ability for Power BI users to provide feedback on the policy rules evaluating their datasets. In the Datasets Detail page, you will now be able to see all of the policy rules that have been detected for the dataset. A side panel will appear with a card representing each and every rule. In addition to viewing all of the matched rules, data owners will be able to take action if they believe the data was falsely identified. And based on how the policy rule was configured, you'll then be able to report the issue as a false positive, override the policy, or report and override. We've provided Power BI users with these tools to enable them to provide more insights on datasets met with rules defined by security admins in the Microsoft Purview Compliance Portal, and also help create a built-in line of communication to ensure smooth operations on both sides. We're also thrilled to announce the metric visual is now available in desktop. This visual provides a huge level of flexibility with integrating metrics into your Power BI reporting solutions. You can now include individual metrics instead of the entire scorecard and create report pages showcasing metrics alongside other visuals in the context of the rest of your report data. Ansi will show us a demo of the feature.
I'm going to show you a quick demo of the metric visual that's now available in Power BI Desktop. The metric visual provides a huge level of flexibility in integrating metrics into your Power BI reporting solutions. You can now include individual metrics like these instead of the entire scorecard and create report pages showcasing metrics alongside other visuals in the context of the rest of the report data. This also makes it easy to view or add check-ins right here in the report. Let me show you how to create a metric visual. First, you select the metrics visual icon from the visualization pane and hit Add Metrics. Choose either Add a metric as a visual to add just one single metric, or Add metrics as a list to add an entire scorecard. Then we choose whether to browse existing metrics or create a brand new metric. With Browse Metrics, you can select a metric from an existing scorecard that you have access to and hit Add to Report. This adds the metric as a visual to your report. You can also select Create New for add a single metric as a visual. This lets you create a brand new metric. You can connect to data or enter manual data just like you do in Service. And you can connect your data in a report and fill out other information here and hit Add to Report. You can edit these visuals by going into the focus mode. Open in Service opens this metric in Power BI Service, whereas the Edit button lets you edit this metric just like in Power BI Service. The changes that are made to the existing metrics will be synced to the original scorecard in Service. And you can update the metric here, set up automated status rules, and so on, and hit Save. The visual supports various formatting options such as font size, style, colors, and backgrounds, so you can customize the metric to the look and feel of the rest of your report. You can also turn off these individual elements of the metric, such as owners, due dates, and so on. For example, if I turn off the due date, that's going to disappear from this visual. When you connect an existing metric in Power BI Service, all these formatting changes you make from the pane will only apply to the metric in this report. They won't update the original metric in Power BI Service. This was a quick demo of metric visuals in Power BI, and in the coming updates, we'll be adding support for cross-filtering and connecting to data within the current report.
Next, we've extended mobile formatting to support text box visuals. Now, when you add a text box to the mobile canvas, you can change its format settings to best suit the mobile-optimized view you're creating. In the modelling section, we've been working hard on improving the DAX editing experience after we changed some core components at the end of last year. By now, we believe we've fixed most of the common issues, particularly related to your suggestions. Please keep continuing to send us your feedback so that we can continue to improve. Next, we've updated several connectors for you in the Data Connectivity and Preparation section. This month, we've updated the MariaDB and Google Sheets connectors. We've also made all of our certified connectors available in the Power Query Online experience for use in Power BI data flows and data marts. This means that Power BI data flows and data marts creators have the option to connect to many more data sources in Power Query Online experiences, similar to the experience in Power BI Desktop today. In the mobile section, you can now follow metrics directly from the mobile app and stay up to date with the activity on those metrics. To start following a metric, select More Options on a metrics card in the Metrics Hub or in the Metrics Details pane and choose Follow Metric. To view all of the metrics you're following, select Following in the Metrics display list in the Metrics Hub. It makes no difference whether the metric was marked for following in the Power BI service or in the mobile app. You'll see them all. Likewise, in the Power BI service, you'll also be able to see all of your followed metrics, including those that you started following from the mobile app. Next, in the Developers section, we're happy to announce a new way to manage, enforce, and transact licenses for Power BI visuals. Now you can sell, manage, and enforce licenses directly through the commercial marketplace. Use our new licensing API with a 4.7 API, which was already made available with the July release, to enforce the license and provide a unique standardized licensing experience for customers. Next, we have some exciting new updates for you in the visualization section. New visuals available for you on AppSource this month include the Video Visual by CloudScope, Video Pro by CloudScope, Collage NextGen by CloudScope, Collage Pro by CloudScope, and InfoRiver Charts by InfoRiver. Updated visuals include the Drill Down Combo Bar Pro visual by Zoom Charts and InfoRiver Charts by InfoRiver. This quarter's editors' picks are the Drill Down Timeline Pro visual by Zoom Charts, the Box and Whisker chart by Mac Software, the InfoRiver Premium Matrix and Table visual by InfoRiver, the Dynamic KPI card by Ceraviso, the Play Axis Dynamic Slicer visual by Emprozil, and the InfoRiver charts by InfoRiver. You can learn more about or download all of these visuals and more on AppSource. Next, we're very excited to announce that the Power BI integration in Dynamics 365 and model-driven Power Apps, which shipped as a preview feature last December, is now generally available. Dynamics 365 and model-driven Power Apps give organizations the ability to quickly build essential line-of-business apps in a low-code environment, increasing agility and modernizing processes. And since these apps are built on top of Dataverse, they're backed by our core business data. With this integration directly on views, information workers are now able to tap into this data and explore it using Power BI's powerful data analytics capabilities without ever needing to leave their app. Just click the Visualize this view button and let Power BI automatically create a report on top of the exact data you are looking at. Amanda will show us a demo of this feature.
Views in Dynamics and model-driven Power Apps are effectively tables of data. Given how much data can be in these views, it can be really hard to understand all of the data, find trends, categorize things, etc. But with the new Power BI integration, you're able to visualize this data with ease. Just start by clicking Visualize this view. From there, Power BI will automatically connect to the data through the Dataverse Power Query connector, generate a model off of it, and then automatically find some visuals to display. And what's great about this is that the report that's created is connected to exactly the same view you were looking at in Dynamics, including columns that are coming from different types of tables in Dataverse, and any filters that you applied on top of the data inside of the app's view. And one of the improvements with the GA of this feature is that display names are also now used so that fields will have the exact same name they do when you were looking at the data in the view. Once the report is loaded, it's easy to make modification to the visuals as well. You can use the Your Data pane on the right to indicate which field you're interested in visualizing. Just check or uncheck fields and our automatic report generating experience will rerun and find new visuals to show you. To edit an individual visual, you can use the Personalize this visual option in the visuals header, which allows you to change the visual type, what fields are used, what aggregations are being used, or even add in new fields to the visual. Also new with the GA is the ability to save this report. By clicking on the Save button on the top left, you'll be able to give the report a name, pick any workspace you have permission to, and then, if required by your organization, set a sensitivity label. Once you finish saving, you'll be given a link to the report in the Power BI service, and at this point, it just becomes like any other report. You can share it, package it in an app, download the PBIX to change the model, or even package it up as part of a Power App solution to embed it back in the Power App you were looking at. We also added a few recent quality of life improvements as well. You'll notice that performance has gotten better, particularly for the larger, slower models, And we've also removed some of the system-generated columns that were showing up in the Your Data pane. So now that this integration is generally available, it's a great time to try it out. If you're an app creator, you'll be able to enable this feature for any of your users in any of your apps through the individual apps settings dialog that you find under the Features tab in the Power Apps UX.
And lastly, a while ago we introduced settings in Power BI Desktop that allowed optimization of Power Query query execution performance. And last but not least, we invite you to register on community.powerbi.com. We now have MSA enabled so you can register with your preferred email address. We're looking forward to meeting you in the community. And that's all for this month. As always, we hope you enjoyed the updates, and please keep sending us feedback on what you'd like to see in upcoming releases. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll meet you again next time.